guys, I'm Christina and today I am giving you my triple review of The Mist by Stephen King. Now I'm calling this a triple review because I now have enjoyed The Mist in 3 different ways. First, I watched the Spike TV series from 2017, which is now available on Netflix. Then I listened to the audiobook on my Audible, which is the novel by Stephen King. And then lastly, I watched the movie from 2007, which also is available on Netflix. They are all called The Mist, so they're easy to find, but they are quite different. So let's talk about it. We're going to talk about the main story from the book first. It is a story about David and his son Billy mostly. We start off the story with him and his wife and Billy experiencing this storm. They go down to their basement and hide, and when they come up again, this big tree is falling into their house and they can see that their boathouse has been destroyed. Then David takes his son and their neighbor comes along with them into town to go to the supermarket to get some supplies and buy some food. And while they are there, the mist comes over the town and they are locked inside the supermarket and people go crazy. People go crazy. They are trying to figure out what is outside, they're scared. You have a woman that is preaching that this is a religious act, this is God being vengeful. Now the book and the movie has its story there. They are very similar, so they're in their own box. And then you have the Spike TV series, which is a whole other deal. That's completely different. And to be honest, I'm very glad that I saw the TV series first, so I didn't compare that to the novel when I watched it, because then I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much as I did. Because in the TV series, you have the story of a family, which is a man and a woman, can't remember their name, and their daughter. And we start off this story with the daughter going to this party. Her mom told her not to, but her dad gave her the permission to go. Then we see her flirting with the school jock. They go into this room together. She wakes up the next morning and then she finds out that she's been raped. Her best friend tells her that, yes, you two went into that bedroom. That was the last I saw of you. And then we have the story based around this rape allegation, and the jock is also the son of the town sheriff. So while the mom and the daughter goes to the mall, and the dad and the daughter's best friend goes to the police station to talk to them, the mist comes over the town and they are separated. Then we get different stories here. We get everything that happens in the mall, where people go crazy pretty much in the same way that they do in the supermarket from the novel and the movie. But you also get the story of how her father is trying to get back to his wife and daughter, and how the mist plays very different tricks on their minds than what happens in the book and in the movie. It bases so much on the mist playing tricks on everybody's minds. And that's a really interesting angle. And you do get a lot of the hints towards this military station Arrowhead. So we know that there's some kind of connection to what is going on with this military station. You get that in both the TV series and the novel and the movie. Now, the thing about the TV series that kind of takes it down a notch is that it is 1 season and it is not conclusive after the first season, because the TV series was cancelled after that, and the TV series ends on a massive cliffhanger that is very different from the story in the books. So we never really get to know what the thought behind that was, and that is kind of sad. I would have enjoyed seeing where they were going with that. I'm not gonna say exactly what it was because I don't want to spoil it for you, but it is a pretty good series. But because it was cancelled, because they took such a different road, it just didn't end up being top notch. Now, I also had some issues with the actors in it as well. I didn't really connect with them that well. There was something feeling a bit off with the woman that played the wife. And I don't really know. There was just something there. Then let's jump to the book. The book is fantastic. The audiobook is about 5 hours long, and it like I said, it tells the story about David and Billy and everything that happens while they are stuck in the supermarket. People in that supermarket is just going crazy because they're scared, because they're worried, because they are stuck with a lot of people that are very different, and it is a very interesting story. The thing that didn't make it into a 5-star read for me was the ending. The ending is very open. It is up to the reader to kind of figure out what was going on or what happened afterwards. And sometimes I really enjoy that. Other times it just bugs me. In this particular case, I'm not really sure. I don't think I've made up my mind yet about what I feel about it. It's just been a couple of days since I finished listening to it, so I think I haven't fully processed what I think about the ending yet, but it's still a really, really good story. Then we have the movie. Oh, and man, was that good. I was not expecting it to be that good. I can remember having watched it a long time ago, but I had completely blocked out most of it. So I'm thinking that maybe I didn't see the whole thing, but I'm not sure. But having read the novel first, or listened to the novel first, and then watching the movie and seeing how accurate it was to the story, the movie didn't really go off story the way that the TV series did. It stuck to the story pretty much the whole way. Of course, they've cut out a few things, added a few things, but nothing that really changed the story except for the ending. The movie has a bit of a different ending than the book, and to be honest, I think I like the movie ending more. And I've actually read that Stephen King agrees. He's like, okay, he was really impressed by how they made the movie and how they decided to end it. So yeah, I did a thing on Instagram, I don't know if you saw it, but I had this really intense reaction afterwards. I was just sitting there being really perplexed, like being kind of shocked by this ending because it was so intense and so good, and I wasn't expecting it, not at all. But even though the ending of the movie is a bit more conclusive than the book is, it still has sort of an open ending. You don't get the answer to all of your questions, but you do get answers to some of them. Oh man, was it good. I'm really surprised of how much I love that movie. It was so good, and the actors did a phenomenal job, and the kid actor that played Billy, oh my, phenomenal kid actor. I would say that I would give the TV series a 3 out of 5, mostly because it is non-conclusive and they've taken some really creative liberties here and gone totally off story in so many ways. The novel I would give a 4 out of 5. It drags it down from a 5 just because of the ending. Like I said, I'm not really sure how I feel about it. So yeah, and then I would say that the movie is a 4.5 out of 5. It was just really, really good. So good. Maybe I even want to say 5 out of 5. Yeah, let's go with it. So we have a 3, we have a 4, and we have a 5. I actually kind of like the movie more than the book. And that is a first when it comes to Stephen King. I don't think I've ever said that before. But that being said, I'm not sure if I would have enjoyed the movie as much if I haven't read the novel first. But I don't know. But the thing about Stephen King stories, and I think I say this in every review that I do of a Stephen King novel or story, short story collection, anything that he does, is that no matter how awful the monsters are, how creepy the setting is, how supernatural, how science fiction-y it gets, the main theme of his stories are always how much of a monster people can be. It is the inside dark monsters of real people and how that just comes out in so many different and awful ways when people are put under pressure. That is why I love Stephen King's stories so much, because they are all about the people. They're all about the characters and the cruelty of mankind. And it is heartbreaking, it is awful, but it's so clearly in his stories, and that's what makes them all so special. and this is no exception. Just seeing how people go out of their minds because they're scared and worried and stuck in a strange place with a lot of strangers. And seeing this and thinking about a real situation just like it, I wouldn't be surprised if people acted just as horrible as they do in this one. I think people under pressure are extremely dangerous, and it doesn't take more than a few crazies to make everyone go crazy, and that's what really came forth in this story. So I would say that overall The Mist was a truly fantastic experience in all three ways. It was a good experience, but novel-wise and movie-wise was the best experiences here, and I highly recommend both. If you're going to watch the TV series, see it as a separate thing, but you've been warned. It's cancelled after the first season, so you won't get more than that, and you will be left with a cliffhanger and a lot of questions. But it's still interesting, and they had an interesting outlook on the story. So let me know in the comments down below if you watched, listened, read it. If you have any thoughts about it, I would love to know as always. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And I will see you in my next video soon. Goodbye!